Hi guys, and welcome to the very first episode of the Ultimate Zodiac Showdown series. And in today's video, we are going to be assessing Cancer versus Scorpio. I am going to be discussing the core differences between these two signs, followed by the compatibility whenever they are in a relationship. So we're going to be looking at love, we're going to be looking at sex, and we're also going to be discussing anger. What I want you guys to do is to comment below the key differences that you see between these two signs, and also feel free to share any experiences that you've had with either of them. Right, so Cancer and Scorpio are both water signs. Water signs like to swim back and forth between their imaginations and reality, resulting in them being able to create anything within their reality because their imaginations is one of their strongest gifts. Water signs are the most sensitive of the zodiac. They're very receptive, truly in touch with how they feel, and so because of this, they allow their emotions to really guide them through whatever they want to do. Water signs, ultimately, they react to situations depending on how it makes them feel. After all, the very symbols here for the water signs being Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces, these all are representing these cold-blooded creatures within nature, and so there's no human present here. Human is absent within all three of the symbols. And this suggests that the very structures, the theories and the ideas of human thought are not the mode of operation for these signs. Therefore, what is felt is very, very much real to a water sign. Make no mistake here, because what they feel is probably the most important thing in the world to a water sign. Right, so we've got Cancer, and Cancer is more about the personal emotional experience, but then we have Scorpio, and Scorpio is the interpersonal or the social emotional experience because it's one-on-one. Interesting thing about both Cancer and Scorpio is that they have shells within their very symbols. So first we have Cancer, and Cancer is symbolized by the crab, and crabs, they like to live amongst the barren seashores. But then we have Scorpio, and Scorpio is symbolized by the scorpion. Alright, and scorpions like to live in the desert. However, the question here is, what do the shells represent? Both shells are about protection. It's about safety. But how do they protect themselves? Because how they protect themselves is different. You see, cancers like to protect themselves by evading conflict. Okay? If they sense that there is an untrusting person around them, they will make a move to protect themselves and their loved ones. Whereas Scorpios protect by using their shell as a way to defend themselves, making them very difficult, if not more difficult, to know. Not to mention, a Scorpio might actually attack an enemy as a way of protection, or they may just withdraw in strong disgust. Both signs are quite defensive, but Cancer is vulnerable above the surface, whilst Scorpio is more vulnerable beneath the surface. I mean, if we even think about a crab, right? A crab is just walking side to side on the shore of the beach. You know, it's got the claws on its side, right? And then a human comes along on the beach and just picks it up. Just picks up this little crab, and the crab's like, help me, and just sets it. The child, you know, I did this when I was a kid, going along the beach and just picking up the crabs and putting them in my bucket. It's so easy to do. However, scorpions have that stinger. This is their main source of protection. No human is gonna be coming along and trying to pick them up, let me tell you. Therefore, Scorpios are much more alert. Okay, try to think of Scorpios even as like an iceberg. Okay, even the fact that Scorpio is a fixed water sign. Okay, so I would say that the fixed water is a representation of it being frozen, so frozen water. So even think of that analogy of the iceberg for these beings. So we have no idea really how much of that iceberg is underneath those cold waters, right? And this, I think, is a representation of how Scorpios possess that emotional intensity underneath the very facade that they like to put on. Scorpios are able to sniff out any type of hypocrisy, and because of this, it's suggested that they are more mistrusting in comparison to Cancer. Yet Cancer is quite shy and cautious, and yes, probably easily more approachable in comparison to Scorpio. But even a Cancer, so say a Cancer is at a party and spots somebody that they really, really like. What that Cancer might do is they might just circle around the room, okay, rather than them going directly up to the person and starting a conversation directly with them. Cancerians aren't usually the people to take that initiative directly, even though they are cardinal signs. They're more about adapting themselves to the immediate situation so that they are not humiliated or rejected. And sure, yes, like I said, they're cardinal, so they're cardinal water signs, but it's a lot more subtle. Try to think of the Cancerian energy or the cardinal water energy as kind of like a tap. It's dripping, so just drips, 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 and then next thing you know, you've got a bucket full of water. With this analogy then, I believe that Cancers will really express themselves in a much more subtle way. But having said that, do not be fooled, because no matter how gentle a Cancer may appear outwardly towards other people, they work with the very atmosphere and on the feelings of others as a way to sort of orientate them towards their own objectives. Okay guys, so with all of that out of the way, looking at the core differences between Cancer and Scorpio, there's obviously a lot more to talk about. We're going to move on to the very compatibility now, looking at love, sex, and anger. So we've been dating for about 8 months now. Yeah, we met in a coffee shop. So I used to work in the coffee shop, and I remember I was making him his latte and he just looked at me and I didn't know what to do. It was so intense and I had to look away. I felt really shy, but he just gave me that glare and I was just put on the spot. So we go out, we're having the most amazing conversation, but I can tell that there's something different about him. There's something that I can't quite get about him, and I was very intrigued. I was very intrigued about how he could remain so calm and confident in what he was saying, but yet I could tell there were things that he was holding back. Honestly, at the beginning, it was so difficult because I thought that he was rejecting me and that he didn't want me around, and so it made me quite emotional. I thought that he didn't want me or that he didn't want to love me, but then I just realized that it's best for me to let him open up whenever he's ready and for me not to force things on him. I just try to understand that he requires his privacy and I have to give that to him. Yeah, I'll really be there for him and I'll show him that I love him, but not just love him as a lover, but love him as a friend. And I make sure that he's not alone, and I'll be there for him through no matter what it is he's going through. I'm gonna be there. He is truly like my rock. Honestly, whenever it feels like the whole world is against me, I go to him and he pushes me back up. He tells me what I need to hear and not what I want to hear, and I think I need that sometimes. I need somebody just to be more direct with me and tell me what I gotta do, how to get out of the funk. I truly appreciate his loyalty, his dependability, and his commitment, the commitment within our relationship. And I also love how he also has a strong desire for security and stability and safety, because I require these things. Oh my gosh, he is such a passionate lover. He is so passionate. And he takes the commitment seriously. You know how many guys do not take that seriously? He is a very strong, committed person to me. And that makes me feel safe. And I am so devoted to him. I'm very devoted. And I like to make him feel cozy. I like to make him feel sheltered and nurtured. Yeah, we met at a coffee place. It was my favorite coffee place actually, and oh my gosh, I just had to take one look at her and I was already in love. In love. I couldn't I couldn't hold myself back from that. I felt like I had to give her my number straight away or else I would have just missed my opportunity with her. She was just so magical. The way her hair looked in front of her face, it fell down over one of her eyes. Man, I just wanted to pull it back and just caress her skin. She was so beautiful. Doing that actually, it took a lot out of me to do that, but I felt I had to do that. I didn't want to miss that chance. I'm really deeply romantic, and I I want to express my entire love and affection towards those that I care about. I might not do it in the most theatrical way, but I do it in my way. I do it in my overbearing way. I just love how much support she gives me. She gives me so much immense support, and that's what I need. A partner who just listens to me, who is an excellent, it's like she's a counselor, you know? It's like she's this type of counselor who just sits and listens, you know? She doesn't just listen, but she actually remembers what I say. She remembers all the details. She remembers the dates that I tell her. She remembers everything. And I never have to repeat myself because she just always knows. She always just knows how I'm feeling and how I'm doing. I come into the room and she just automatically knows what's going on with me, and she knows the times to tell me and ask me, and she knows the times not to ask me. She's just very good, and she's able to really sync with what I'm feeling, and I admire that a lot about her. She's the type of woman who is gonna be there for me. She's the type of woman who's gonna be there for me no matter what. No matter what. And that's what I sense. Though, yeah, I have learned to not come across as so aggressive with her because my emotions are just so extreme and intense and passionate. So I've learned to, to tone it down a little bit around her because I don't want to scare her. Seriously, our relationship is just full of depth, intensity, and this amazing emotional support. She makes me feel understood in a world where I don't feel understood. Even when it comes to sex, I am highly romantic and I like to really be soothing, and I'm very emotional. And what I really love about him is that he likes to truly merge with me as well. And he has the ability to understand my needs. He understands what I like, and he meets those needs very well. Let's just say that sex between us is extremely intimate and very personal. He makes me feel like I'm the only girl in the world for him. Yeah, the way he expresses his anger can be a little bit too much for me, if I'm honest. I mean, he'll say that he's above anger, but most likely he's still gonna stay on the defensive side and get far away from the situation. But he doesn't try to get away from the situation because he's afraid of it. It's because he is fully aware of the very damage that he will do to the other person when he's angry. I've seen his angry outbursts, yeah. Or what he might do is he might just be sarcastic or criticize. I've seen that side of him. Though don't get me wrong, whenever he is ever upset with me, I sometimes like to put on my crocodile tears. Because I don't want him being upset with me. I want him to love me. And I want to love him. And I've also seen him just cut people off completely. Yeah, he's not afraid to do that. But what I will say is that usually if we are in a little argument between ourselves, it's him that has to come to me. Because I'm not budging. No, I'm not budging. I'll give him the silent treatment for weeks. Trust me, weeks. Until he cracks. When it does come to sex with her, it's something that she needs to feel safe within, and I think that I can provide her with that safety, and I can provide her with that reassurance that all of her needs and her wants are going to be met. We're very connected that way, and I like merging with her. I feel like I can properly merge with her because that's what I desire whenever it does come to a sexual partner. You know, I gotta feel that soul merging togetherness, you know? I just enjoy exploring the very depths of her. Now, don't get me wrong, yeah, whenever it does come to an argument with her, she'll get highly defensive and she'll become really sulky and she can be quite manipulative as well. I've seen what she can be like. She can be pretty resentful towards people and she might even hold grudges over them. You know, it's very similar to me. Very similar to me. I'm not perfect. I've seen her, you know, I've seen her close herself off from people because of her anger. She has this habit of feeling sorry for herself when things don't go right, when things go wrong. And there's usually these 3 stages to her anger. So the first would be where she would sulk as a warning. So I know I can pick up on the sulking. And then if the person doesn't notice that she's sulking, then what she'll do is she will practice her passive aggressiveness. And if that, you know, following on from that, she'll just withdraw completely. And trust me, whenever she withdraws, that's it, you lost her. You lost her. I have to physically make sure that I go to her. Yeah. Because I know what she's doing. I already know what she's doing. She doesn't want to be ignored. Whenever she goes into herself, she doesn't want to be ignored. She actually does that because she wants me, or she wants the people that she loves to be closer to her. She wants them to show her that tenderness and that love that she wants to feel, that she feels she deserves. And she does deserve it. She does deserve it. What can I say? She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I love her. Okay guys, so that concludes my video on the Cancer versus Scorpio, whilst also looking at the compatibility between these signs. Next up, it's gonna be Scorpio versus Pisces. Thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and if you have not yet subscribed, then click the subscribe button, and I will be back with my next video very soon. Bye!